Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most powerful Mortal Kombat fighters.
Triborg decided to begin anew. He would henceforth be known as the leader of the deadliest clan in all the realms, the Takunin.
For this list, we're looking at the cast of MK that can triumph over almost any matchup. Almost. Which character do you believe is the strongest? Let us know down in the comments. Number 20, Chinook. The fallen Elder God wields immense power for someone having been stripped of his status. Even so, we wouldn't dare mess with a dude who can conjure up skeletal hands to shred and smash us to pieces. Fighting him in his more demonic form is also out of the question. But of all of the strongest warriors across the realms, he gets the bottom of the proverbial totem pole. Why? Well, despite all of those awesome powers and the ability to become some otherworldly monstrosity, he got his butt whooped by our next entry. Number 19, Cassie Cage.
You look like both your parents.
How do you know them, Cabal?
Normally, we wouldn't have put Cassie Cage on this list. It's not that we have anything against her, it's just because a lot of her powers aren't as deadly as, say, the boss characters or even the spectrum of ninjas we've seen. She utilizes a lot of her maneuvers and attacks that we've already seen in both her father and her mother. However, bringing down an Elder God is quite the feat, and when you've achieved doing such a thing, how can you not be called one of the strongest fighters in all the realms? Chinook should be ashamed.
In the next timeline, all I want is to be a model soldier, to command the next generation of special forces. We were born to defend Earthrealm.
Number 18, Kotal Kahn.
Desperate, the Emperor called upon the Elder Gods to aid in preserving his sovereignty.
Kotal Kahn wields about the same might and brutality that his predecessor exercised. He can deal a ton of damage in just a couple of hits, but his fists will be the least of your worries. As with the rest of the Aztec race, Kotal can use the sun to heal himself or even torch his opponents. And that goes without mentioning his ability to use blood magic, gain more strength by summoning totems, and turn into a giant panther. In other words, Kotal Kahn is basically a god. Well, he was, until his predecessor took the throne for Outworld back.
History will play out as determined by its players. Let the sands fall where they may.
Number 17, Fujin. On paper, the title of God of Wind doesn't sound as impressive as, say, someone who can make skeletal hands or harness the sun to burn people. What? He can make water waves at will? He can blow air in your face? No, Fujin can do more damage than you think. He can create waves powerful enough to tear your skin off, take out your limbs, slam you around like you've got in a tornado, all sorts of different ways. We have more reasons to be afraid of air.
Fujin wins.
Number 16, Scorpion. One would have thought that Scorpion would have made our top 10 initially. After all, this dude has been killed and revived about as many times as Superman. Thing is that his rage is all he needs to unleash his real power. In addition to teleportation, he can also conjure up hellfire and of course toss out his seemingly never-ending spear to be an absolute troll. Even without all these supernatural abilities, he's an incredibly skilled fighter, an expert in sword fighting and tanto. So, he is definitely worthy of being called one of the strongest fighters in Mortal Kombat lore.
As the spirits of his kin immobilized Quan Chi, Scorpion slew him, finally avenging their deaths.
Number 15, Triborg.
Triborg turned his attention to the special forces. General Blade and the others fought valiantly. but their human weaknesses led to their inevitable defeat.
Let's ignore the fact that Triborg was a waste of a slot for MKX's DLC and really look at his existence within the lore. Sector, Cyrax, Smoke, Cyber Sub-Zero, all of them were already deadly warriors that could blend dangerous weaponry and technology with their martial arts knowledge. But when mashed together into one metallic entity, Triborg is essentially the Terminator of the Mortal Kombat universe. And when you're known as the last remaining piece of the Lin Kuei Cyber Initiative, you know Triborg will make sure his presence is felt everywhere.
Triborg decided to begin anew. He would henceforth be known as the leader of the deadliest clan in all the realms, the Takunin.
Number 14. Noob Saibot.
Fear me.
Putting Noob Saibot on a list like this is kinda funny given how he was a secret boss at one point and was infamously known for being insanely hard. How many of us recall fighting him for the first time and watching him spam all of his Shadow Clone moves? That alone is enough for us to call him a powerful character, but that's not even the end of it. Remember, he also has the Ghost Ball, which is unblockable and disables blocking and the use of special moves. All of his moves are cheap, easy to spam, and if it weren't for game balance, viable to annihilate just about anyone.
Wins.
Number 13. Ermac. Ermac is absolutely the most powerful of the Rainbow Ninjas we've seen across Mortal Kombat, and it isn't even because of some crazy power he wields. Yeah, he has telekinesis and can do some crazy stuff with that, but there is one small tidbit about him that makes him super powerful. He isn't human.
Anarchy erupted within Ermac as the many warrior souls that comprised his being struggled for dominance. Only one had the strength of will to quiet the chaos.
Ermac is an actual entity composed of the souls of fallen victims. So long as there are souls to harness and fuse together, Ermac can never truly die. Thanks to a certain Outworld Emperor, Ermac has achieved immortality now and forever, which cannot be said for most of the characters on our list in a literal sense.
Though he would never be the Jared they once knew, Ermac would forever serve and protect his queen and the Edenian people.
Number 12. Quan Chi.
Many warriors had perished in Outworld's invasion of Earthrealm. Quan Chi stole their souls and remade them to serve his master, the fallen Elder God.
Quan Chi gets a spot higher than Ermac, Triborg, and many others simply because of what he has been able to accomplish with his dark magic. He is the one responsible for turning Bi-Han into Noob Saibot. He took down all of Hanzo Hisashi's clan, tricked him into thinking Bi-Han was responsible, and turned Hanzo into what we know as Scorpion. Quan Chi's skills in necromancy are no joke, and with his devilish intellect, he could easily conquer the various realms if it weren't for Earthrealm's many defenders.
Free will was burned from Quan Chi's soul and replaced with a single directive. He must kill Raiden.
Number 11. Shao Kahn. Yeah, Shao Kahn almost made it into our top 10. This douche is a big, dumb beefcake with a magical hammer and has escaped death a handful of times. And like with several other characters, he has been resurrected and come back stronger than ever. Really, he's just a big brute who is capable of punching and smashing anything to solve his problems. However, there are 10 other characters who could easily bring him to his knees because of his dependence on brawn and weaponry. Hey, pure muscle can only get you so far. Number 10. Sindel.
You are pathetic and weak!
How many times have we handed Shao Kahn's ass to him on a silver platter? Too many. Sindel, on the other hand, can serve you without lifting a finger.
Not only had Sindel defeated Shao Kahn, but she had shown great leadership in chaotic times.
The reason why so many cower in fear to the Queen isn't because of her whip of a Bride of Frankenstein hairdo. It's her set of pipes. Just by screaming, Sindel can blast back foes, make Chef Boyardee out of their faces, and even scare their souls out of their body. The only thing that could limit her powerful voice is her lungs, and given how much yelling she's had to do in combat, it's safe to say she's an explosive human subwoofer.
She dissolved the sorcery that bound Edenia with Outworld and began restoring her realm to its former glory.
Number 9. Shujinko. If you aren't familiar with this old man, Shujinko was the protagonist of Conquest Mode in Mortal Kombat Deception, where he was tasked with retrieving the Kamidogu. While he starts out as an inexperienced warrior, Shujinko eventually evolves into a master of nearly every martial art in the universe. This is because Damashi granted him the power to copy and learn every fighting style he sees. It's basically instant knowledge, meaning he can kick your butt in more than a handful of ways. With that kind of power, he could easily become the most powerful character, but we've got 8 more entries to go. Number 8. Cirrion. Don't worry, we're not about to make this top 10 Elder Gods or anything, but Cirrion is way more powerful than one may realize. We aren't just talking about her Elder God status either. Cirrion can control life and nature, meaning she has power over earth, water, light, air, and fire.
Kaitin are not welcome in your temples.
Those rules are outdated.
In other words, she's basically Captain Planet as a Poison Ivy type character. Sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, all those elements allow Cirrion a lot of different abilities. Shall she crush you with rocks? Drown you with water? Burn you up with fire? How about all 3? Number 7. Raiden. We know what some of you are thinking. Wait, why are you guys putting Raiden above Cirrion? All he has is lightning. Well, it's not only about how many powers or abilities you hold, it's how you use them. Raiden may be the god of just thunder, but he's capable of doing so many things with his single source of energy. Not only can he zap the living daylights out of his enemies, but he can also teleport almost instantaneously, conjure traps, use lightning for telekinetic abilities, and even heal. Needless to say, Raiden doesn't need to be a jack of all trades to prove himself. He gets more than enough done with just thunder and lightning.
I will instead remain here on Earth as God of Thunder.
Number 6. Onaga. Onaga is such an intimidating foe that even Shao Kahn was too much of a coward to fight him and opted to try poisoning him instead. Yes, the Fear Dragon King is capable of committing unspeakable evil, and when he is in possession of all the Kamidogu, he is almost unstoppable. Even when they teamed up to take him out, Onaga made quick work of Quan Chi, Raiden, and Shang Tsung. Raiden even attempted to take Onaga down through a sacrificial blast, and it was still not enough to stop him. In order to defeat him, Shujinko had to bring together every warrior and use their power against Onaga. See? Almost unstoppable, but not quite. Number 5. Shang Tsung. Without a doubt, Shang Tsung is the most underhanded, cunning villain of the Mortal Kombat roster. The sorcerer will do literally anything if it means he'll benefit later down the road. His power lies not only in his formidable intellect and fighting prowess, but also in his soul-absorbing abilities. Shang Tsung can shapeshift into other people, copy their moves, and even absorb their soul in order to retain his youth. He's practically figured out immortality and can choose who lives or dies, assuming he doesn't end up dead himself.
Your soul is mine.
Number 4. Dark Khan. It's the big lummox that pulled Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe down even further. Why exactly is this ugly mug popping up on this list? Well, in a way, this bland mesh of Darkseid and Shao Kahn can utilize a form of mind control by infecting people with rage. By forcing the Mortal Kombat and DC cast to fight each other, he was able to grow his power and almost completely merge both universes. The fact that he has enough spiritual influence to potentially cause a cataclysmic event on such a scale is kind of absurd, but also kind of terrifying. Number 3. Blaze.
During his ages-long quest to monitor the realms, Blaze had been enslaved by Onaga's holy men and forced to guard the Great Dragon Egg.
Despite his generic design, Blaze is able to do far more damage than one might initially assume. As soon as he became corrupted by the Dragon Egg, Blaze was no longer just a dude with arbitrary fire powers.
Blaze rules.
No, once he achieved his new form, he was able to single-handedly ignite the start of Armageddon itself, bringing the end to not just mankind, but the entire world. Think, Armageddon occurred almost entirely because of this guy's existence. That's some crazy Cthulhu-level stuff right there.
Armageddon began in the Edenian crater and spread throughout the realms, shattering reality until there was nothing.
Number 2. Kronika.
Out of desperation comes invention. I had not thought it possible for Raiden to surprise me.
Of course Kronika was going to pop up sooner or later. Cirrion popped up on here, so why wouldn't her mother? After all, Kronika plays an incredibly important part in the Mortal Kombat storyline. Both iterations of it, actually. You're looking at the Guardian of Time and Space herself. She can pretty much bend reality and history in whatever way she sees fit, and she'll even use those powers in combat. When you really think about it, she's responsible for the creation of many of the entries we've covered here. So, why is she at number 2? Well, if you played through Mortal Kombat 11 and the Aftermath story, you know very well why. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Liu Kang. Normally, Liu Kang wouldn't make this list. For a long time, this guy was just a simple Shaolin monk trying to be the greatest warrior he could. This all changes toward the end of MK11 when Raiden merges with Liu Kang, turning the monk into Fire God Liu Kang. Then, at the end of the Aftermath expansion, he takes on Shang Tsung, who bears Kronika's crown of temporal magic and takes over her role as Keeper of Time. You know, his name could make a good business card. Liu Kang, Shaolin Monk, Fire God, Architect of Destiny, most powerful being in the universe. In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.